Dallas, Texas. Late at night, a young mother walks into an apartment complex, and she never makes it back out.
The last confirmed footage shows 25-year-old Mercedes Clement crossing the parking lot at the Koko Apartments with a man. Then she vanishes. No verified sighting after. No call home. Just silence.
And then comes the detail that makes your stomach drop. Investigators say the surveillance system stops recording for hours, right when the timeline matters most.
More than a year later, skeletal remains are found near Lavon Lake. They're eventually identified as Mercedes.
No arrests, no closure, just one question hanging in the dark. What happened in those missing hours? And who made it so that Mercedes couldn't come home?
What's the emergency?
No problem. All units are by
I'm at the corner of Pleasant Hill and John Young Freeway.
1519519 East 18.
Welcome back to Crime Solvers Central. I'm Jace.
And I'm Charlie. Mercedes Clement was 25 years old, a young mom from Dallas. On the night of October 11th, 2020, she's last seen on surveillance video at the Koko Apartments in Dallas.
According to reporting and investigators, she was seen walking across the parking lot with a man, then moving into the complex. After that, she's not seen again.
In the days after she vanished, her family said her car and personal belongings were found. Details that made it clear to them something was seriously wrong.
The investigation eventually shifted from a missing person case into something darker. A Dallas homicide detective said the case was transferred because investigators suspected foul play.
Then, on February 13th, 2022, Princeton police found skeletal remains near Lavon Lake at Morning Dove Lane in County Route 477.
And on October 3rd, 2022, the Collin County Medical Examiner's Office identified those remains as Mercedes Clement through dental records, and Dallas police were notified.
That identification brought a form of closure, but not justice. The question stayed the same. What happened to Mercedes, and who is responsible?
When families describe Mercedes, one theme keeps coming up. She had a big heart. Her mother said Mercedes was the kind of person who'd give her money away to help someone else.
It's important to say the victim's name like a person, not a headline. Mercedes wasn't a case. She was a daughter, a mother, someone who should still be here.
And she left behind a child, something her family has spoken about publicly in local coverage, in the way only a grieving family can.
One of the most unsettling details in this case is what Mercedes' mother described about that night. Mercedes made calls that sounded worried. She told a friend that she felt scared and needed a ride to her car.
Then the call disconnects. And then, nothing.
And after that, the next day detail is like a punch to the stomach. Her mother said they received notice her car had been towed, then went to the tow yard and found key belongings still inside. Purse, wallet, items most people don't leave behind if they're choosing to disappear.
That's one of those moments that flips a family from, well, maybe she's busy, to something happened.
The last confirmed footage of Mercedes places her at the Koko Apartments that night, walking with a man.
And investigators have repeatedly referenced a problem that night. The system stopped recording for hours, a gap that one detective described as a glitch.
Now, we're not here to imply we know what caused that gap. We don't. But we can say this. When the most important hours of a timeline are missing, it makes everything harder. Harder to prove, harder to reconstruct, harder to hold someone accountable.
And it also creates space for rumor. So we're going to stay anchored to what's been said publicly by investigators and reputable reporting.
The family of a woman who vanished nearly 2 years ago finally heard the news that they were dreading, and they heard that news this week. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Remains found in rural Collin County in February are Mercedes Clement. Her case was featured on Fox 4's Trackdown segment last year. In it, police shared surveillance video showing the last time Clement was seen alive, October of 2020. Earlier this year, her remains were found. It wasn't until this week they were identified. Fox 4's David Centenary spoke to the woman's mom and joins us live with the update. David?
Well, her mother says they still have work to do because no one has been charged with her murder. Police initially did label a specific person a person of interest, but today they tell us that no one has been ruled out.
Dallas police documented this investigation under case number 191-586-2020. And the department has publicly asked anyone with information to contact Detective Patty Ballou.
In national coverage, Detective Ballou also described how the case moved into homicide territory, because investigators suspected foul play, and emphasized the importance of victimology and sustained follow-up.
That matters because people hear missing adult and assume the police can't do anything. But when investigators believe that a disappearance is linked to violence, the tools and urgency shift.
Multiple outlets have reported that investigators identified the man last seen with Mercedes on the surveillance video as Tanner Lawson, and that he has been described publicly as a person of interest.
Important reminder, person of interest is not the same as charged. And in this case, there have been no public homicide arrests announced in connection with Mercedes' death.
Reporting also notes that investigators said he refused to speak with them, and that he was in jail on unrelated charges at the time of at least one update.
And that's where the public often gets stuck, because the human brain wants a single villain, a single clean narrative. Real investigations are messier than that.
Detectives have also said they were looking at multiple people of interest, including acquaintances from different parts of her life.
On February 13th, 2022, Princeton police found skeletal remains near Lavon Lake, Morning Dove Lane, and County Route 477.
Those remains sat in limbo for months, until the identification came through by dental record comparison.
Dallas police stated the homicide unit was notified on October 3rd, 2022, that the remains were Mercedes Clement.
Fox 4 also reported that the cause of death had not been released at the time of that update.
So even with identification, the public still doesn't have a full official explanation of how she died, only that her disappearance is being treated as a homicide investigation.
As of the latest public police updates we can cite in this episode, Dallas police continue to list this as an ongoing investigation and continue requesting tips be sent directly to the detective and to Crime Stoppers.
And in cases like this, no arrest doesn't automatically mean no progress. It can mean detectives know a lot, but they're missing the one piece that turns suspicion into proof.
That missing piece is often a witness, a message, a conversation someone overheard, a timeline correction, a name attached to a face on a video.
You think you're prepared.
But even after 2 years,
She was just amazing. We were not prepared for it at all.
Alicia Gazzotti and her husband got the call about an hour before law enforcement came to their house.
And I watched them all get out of the car and I said, if they're all here, they found her.
Gazzotti's daughter Mercedes was 25 when she went missing in October 2020.
Come here, buddy.
Her son is 6 now.
Who's that?
He spent 2 years without his mom.
Theories time, but we're doing this responsibly. We're not naming private individuals beyond what law enforcement and major outlets have already publicly reported. We're not turning comments into facts.
Think of this as organizing the known information into lanes, so the mind doesn't spiral into rumor.
The most direct lane is also the simplest. The last confirmed footage matters because it places Mercedes with someone at the location where her trail effectively ends.
If you are the one person who knows what happened in that missing gap, if you know where she went after the cameras stopped, then you know the core truth of this case.
And sometimes the missing gap isn't just a technical problem. Sometimes it's the moment when people made decisions. Who walked where? Who left? Who came back? Who moved a car? Who made a call?
Some homicides look like a plan. Others look like a situation that escalated. Fear, anger, panic. And then someone tries to cover it up.
The reason this lane matters is because it changes what evidence would exist. A plan might leave digital footprints, messages, coordination, a ride, a second device. An escalation might leave a mess, impulsive choices, contradictions, a rushed cleanup.
Either way, someone out there likely heard something afterward. Faking, crying, panic, or a sudden "I need help" conversation.
The remains being found near Lavon Lake opens another lane. Someone transported Mercedes or her remains from Dallas to Collin County.
That kind of movement often overlaps with familiarity. Knowing the back roads, knowing places where people don't usually look, knowing where a vehicle can go unnoticed.
And it can also overlap with opportunity. Someone who had time, access, and reason to believe they wouldn't be seen.
This is the one that solves a lot of cases. The detail that feels too small to matter.
A timestamp you remembered wrong, a vehicle you dismissed, a comment you heard one time and forgot, a screenshot you still have, a name you didn't think was connected until you saw a face on the news.
Cold cases get warm again when one person decides that their small thing is worth sending.
Does one of these theories sound plausible to you? Maybe you have a theory of your own. Let us know in the comments. If you've stayed with us till the end, here's the most important part: action.
Dallas police have publicly asked anyone with information to contact Detective Patty Ballou at 214-671-3603 or email patty.ballou@dallaspolice.gov.
You can also contact Crime Stoppers at 214-373-TIPS 8477. Crime Stoppers has stated rewards up to $5,000 may be available for information that leads to arrest and indictment.
If you're afraid, ask about staying anonymous. Use the channels built for that.
If you have something you think is small, send it anyway. Small details add up. A direction someone drove, a time window, a name tied to a location, a message that suddenly makes sense.
And if you want to route a tip through us, you can contact us at crimesolverscentral.com. We forward all credible tips and information to the proper law enforcement agencies covering the case.
Mercedes Clement's family has lived inside this question since October 2020, and identification is not the same as justice.
So we keep saying her name, we keep her story in the light, and we keep pushing the only question that matters. Who is responsible, and what will it take to prove it?
If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Sharing is how cold cases get warm again.
To anyone out there holding information, do the right thing.
This has been Crime Solvers Central. We'll see you in the next one.
Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay loud.